so don't quote me on it. In fact, don't ever quote us on this podcast.
We're over 35s now, so like sometimes you get bad tackles at our age. And he
you're
goes,
40, mate.
yeah.
Ev texts the next morning going, that's how you finish a race under a safety car. Bonjour, mes amis, and welcome back to Idiots of F1, the most chaotically insightful F1 podcast on the interweb, where we unpack the drama, the gossip, and the glorious nonsense of the fastest sport on four wheels. I'm Ollie, your host, your ringmaster, your voice that doesn't shut the fuck up. And this week, oh, Canada, we're heading north for a rear view review of the 2025 Canadian Grand Prix, where the maple syrup was flowing, the wheels were flying, and so apparently were the Groundhogs. Coming up on today's grid, we'll take a full throttle lap around the chaos of Montreal in our trademarked rear view review, who nailed it, who binned it, and why McLaren may need to invest in marriage counselling. Then it's time for Hush, You've Been Paying Attention, the quiz that separates the strategists from the pit lane pranksters. If this is your first episode, sorry, and you're welcome, all in one go for this wild segment. It's by far the best part and the most appropriate nod to the name of this podcast, Idiots. Idiots everywhere. In fact, actually, I see Buzz Lightyear doing that. Have you seen that meme? Idiots. Idiots everywhere. And of course, we'll end with what's Verstappen in your rapid-fire F1 news sprint that's faster than a Red Bull pit stop. It's not. In fact, it's more like a never-ending pit stop that genuinely never ends because we're incapable of sticking to time. But hey, stay tuned for that. Now, joining me in the virtual paddock today are three of your finest minds in F1. In fact, actually, I should probably say three of the finest minds F1 never hired. So first up, it's the man who still thinks Lance Stroll is just a performance art project. It's Ev. Quick one for you, Evan. Montreal's known for its wild nightlife. Which current F1 driver is most likely to get kicked out of a bar on Crescent Street and why?
It'd be Yuki because he'd never get service at the bar. He'd keep waving at someone.
Sir.
Yeah, then I just want to, and then everybody would just be elbowing over him. Yeah, and then he'd get apoplectically angry. Yeah,
he does get very angry. We know that Yuki has an angry side. Okay, returning from a winter spent in a wind tunnel, all the way from the world's favourite country at the moment, America, mind you, is Tay. Tay, welcome back. Mate, if you had to rename the Canadian Grand Prix after a local icon, what are you going with? Think Celine Dion Derby or Justin Trudeau Trophy. What do you got? I love putting these ones to you because you like. I love to see you come up with something creatively on the spot.
Yeah, it doesn't happen.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
It'd be Keanu Reeves Circuit.
Oh, there you go. Thank you for confirming the bias that I thought I was going to avoid.
More like Neo.
Yeah, there you go.
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
You know what? If they change the course to that name, it would be fucking phenomenal.
Do you know what? Tay is literally walking ChatGPT, and what I mean by that. So I've been doing a lot of study into AI recently, and this whole time I've thought that like. I put in a question and AI will do the work to give me the answer. But that is not, in fact, what AI does. AI takes each word of the sentence it's building and predicts the next word. That's how it forms sentences. So, Tay, you have literally taken Keanu Reeves and put track or circuit because you needed to connect Canadian person with F1
Well,
track.
you just said. You
didn't even try,
to name the circuit.
Yeah, but like...
Didn't even try.
At least there's alliteration in Celine Dion Derby. Like, yeah, you literally
why
just
would it be a
connected two
derby?
words. Because that's the derby.
Dion?
It's the F1 derby.
Whereas I think your brain's going Celine Dion Circuit there, Tay, I imagine.
Oh, yeah, possibly. No, I think he's going, why is it not just like
anything
Celine
circuit.
Dion racetrack?
No, not even.
That's even better.
Digby's even closer to the circuit.
Yeah.
Celine Dion
Dion
GP. Done.
Racetrack.
All right. If you're picking up, there's another voice in the background. And, of course, straight from the back of the grid and into our hearts, it's Diggs. Diggs.
Always at the back of the grid.
Because my moose question fell so flat last week, tell us, which F1 driver would you most trust to survive a moose attack in the wilds of Quebec? Fuck.
A moose attack.
Yeah, moose attack. Yeah.
What driver?
No, fuck. Evan's like, moose don't attack people. I can see your brain ticking over. You're like, what? Why a moose attack?
I reckon Max's comments have been so sharp lately. I'm gonna go Max. He could just destroy a moose with just a look or a snap of his lips.
A real terse response. Yeah.
That moose is just like,
how do you
oh,
snap
I'm
your
good. I'm
lips?
just moving on. I don't know.
Yeah.
It'd be Lance. He'd just look up at the satellite and point, and then a laser beam would come down and just like
No,
just
he'd
go
be
right through the
not-
skull.
He
Jesus
won't
Christ, it's
point. He'll be
Jason Bourne.
like, Daddy, fire.
All right, visors down, engines up. Let's get into it. Digby, cue that segment music, maestro. All right. Sort out your mirror, lean back in the chair, and with us, dive into our first segment of the episode, Rear View Review. Now, if you're new around here, this is where we take a good hard look in the rear view mirror. Q is obviously in the title, and break down everything that went down in last weekend's Grand Prix. And this one, circa Gilles Villeneuve. Did you like that, Ev? I got it right this week. Yeah. No, still not impressed.
I love that Spotify when it predicts the transcript when you were talking last week, it spells it even the way you say Gilles.
Yeah. Gilles with a T. Yeah. Well, obviously it served up somewhat of a chaos cocktail. So we had pit stop after pit stop. We had Groundhogs. We had McLaren drama. We had a Red Bull protest, and somehow George Russell on the top step. We've got team orders, driver beef, pit lane fades, and a cheeky bit of papaya-soaked carnage to get into. Starting at the top, rear view review starts now. So, gents, for the first time this year, a Grand Prix win and ultimately a double win for podiums with George Russell and Kimi Antonelli coming in first and third. Starting with George, look, I mean, I'll throw to you guys in a second, but for mine, he's outstanding in Montreal. He backed up his strong pace on Friday. He had a scintillating lap in qualifying, which I think... Well, he believed actually it was his best ever to take pole position for the second consecutive year. He then delivered a masterclass on Sunday, absorbing quite an amount of pressure from Max throughout to seize his fourth Grand Prix victory and Mercedes' fifth, actually, in Canada. So he's now finished on the podium. Did you guys know this? He has now finished on the podium more times this season, so that's his fifth time on the podium, than he managed for all of 2024.
That seems crazy to me because I remember him being on the podium a few times last year. But that's I suppose he's doing a lot more like thirds and stuff this year. I don't know, but that's wild.
Yeah, it is. It is wild, and he's only 19 points now behind four-time world champ Verstappen in the fight for P3 in the drivers' champs. Boys, anything in particular you wanted to say about George's race? Or Mercedes?
I wanted to bring up
Kim and Ellie in a minute.
Just this is more on a general note with all the drivers. Have you guys noticed a lot this year that everyone's having the best drive they've ever had or the worst drive they've ever had? And I haven't really seen anything particularly outstanding or un-outstanding about these drives. I think it was Lewis the other week was like, oh, it's the best drive I've had, like, or the worst day I've had. It was like, mate, you came sixth. It can't have been like that bad. And then George has come out.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, George had a great weekend, but there was nothing particularly...
Do you know what I think it is?
Outrageously, like, insane about it. I was watching, it was like great that he held off Max for a while, and then he was kind of done for the day. Now, maybe it was just super consistent. Maybe he was just felt on fire. I don't know. But from a TV standpoint, I wasn't blown away.
Well, I think it's probably twofold, right? There's the element that
nothing happened until the 67th lap. So.
Exactly. We will talk about it. George hasn't done anything spectacular, so first win in a while. Like, you'd be like, yeah, this is the best day of my life, you know, because you've forgotten what the actual best day of your life when you won it last time was. But I do wonder, and actually maybe one for Evan Tay, I do wonder, like, is everything the worst day of my life or the best day of my life? And you're right, Diggs, now that you mention it, I feel like I have seen a little bit, definitely heard a bit more of it. Is it because they're all just so fucking sick of these cars? But yeah, I don't know. Have you ever heard drivers whinge or talk as much about their cars as they have recently? Is this just normal?
No, certainly not. What they have with these cars is different to everything else. Besides the fact they're already heavier than they've ever been and wider and bigger, longer than they've ever been. Ground effect cars, through just the natural effect of ground effect, you have oversteer in fast corners because you've got so much grip with the ground effect. And then, but transversely, with slow corners, you've got tons of understeer because you're not going fast enough to have any ground effect. And so what you're left with is this like heavy pig of a car that won't turn. And what they found out the last time they tried ground effect in the 80s is, and why it was outlawed, is because there's no reading as to where the grip is. So you think you're going to take a corner and the grip's going to be there, and the difference might be like 1 or 2 kilometers an hour, and you're completely gone. Which we see we don't see it this season, but we had before, where everybody was getting tripped up by their own car because it just didn't turn the way that they were expecting. Crosswinds affect it a great deal, so it's been really frustrating because it's the opposite of what drivers are used to. Drivers are used to it being the other way around, which is what normally a race car does. Yeah. It's really frustrating for me coming from, or anybody who remembers when Lewis was dominating because Mercedes was spending something like 10-1 for every other team. Yeah. And so we spent a couple of years thinking, oh, it's fine, they'll fix it next week by just spending hundreds of millions of dollars on development. And nobody ever did because we had the cost cap. And so we're just like, we've been lumped with these undrivable cars. Max, to his credit, obviously succeeded beyond everybody's expectations.
So what's the go with next year then?
I don't know. But, well, they're just going to be smaller. They're they're like a quarter smaller, like 25% less in terms of length and width. I don't know what other changes they're bringing in, other than a smaller car is cheaper to make because it takes less carbon fiber, obviously.
It's also better. Like, it's better for racing.
And it looks faster on TV too.
Oh, yeah.
And it looks
tracks
better.
aren't designed, the bigger tracks, the ones like Tilke designed, like at Bahrain and all the new ones, they're super wide and huge tracks, and the cars look slower anyway, relatively speaking.
George, like, I don't know, I'm going to just throw out there. So I used to love George, but he's such a fucking teacher's pet. Like, I don't know. I just find, the thing about George, like, he has this real quirk. Yeah, look at him. He's getting defensive.
I've said enough. I don't need to keep defending him. I've said enough.
I don't know.
He's building enough saliva.
Nat felt it in her waters.
It's not so much that, like, I don't think he's boring. He's just a bit goody two-shoes, and, like, he comes across as, like, the headmaster's son.
Yeah.
Boring George. Your notes read boring George. So it sounds like you do fucking think he's boring.
I've been saying this for years.
How does that come into play when clearly what he did at the end during safety car?
Well, okay, so
feel...
let's talk about... I'm curious about that, right?
Oh, I love that. I love that so much. I've been waiting for someone all year to do this.
Here's a question. I'm going to contextualise for... so apparently it took something like 5 hours for it to be absolutely confirmed that George Russell was the winner of the Grand Prix. So Red Bull protested George's... What? Yeah, so I don't know if you guys were aware of this, but Red Bull protested...
I knew they protested,
And it took something... I can't remember where I saw it, so don't quote me on it. In fact, don't ever quote us on this podcast.
It took about 5 hours.
But it took a very, very long time for it to be absolutely confirmed that George Russell did, in fact, win the Grand Prix. Because for those that missed it, in the final lap, so the race ended on a safety car. And look, sorry, I'm clearly a bit sporadic this afternoon, but... I mean, the race was like one of those races where you sat there with a cup of tea for fucking 67 laps going, and then for the fucking last lap, or the last, obviously when the safety car came out, you're like, oh my God, and you're like glued to it. And then it finished under a safety car, which, mind you, Ev texts the next morning going, that's how you finish a race under a safety car.
Thanks, Massey.
Thank you,
Michael Massey.
Yeah, now calm down, Max Verstappen fans. We're not saying it's Max's fault, but anyway, so what happened was, there's, I think it was in like the second last lap. I think it was pretty obvious the race was going to finish under a safety car. We'll talk about it a little bit about Max.
I don't think they had decided that just yet. It was still pretty early on in that safety car.
It was pretty obvious, though. Like, the safety car came out like 4 laps to go.
You could assume.
Yeah.
Perhaps that's why he chose to do it then, because he was like, well, it can't hurt. Like, it's not gonna.
Yeah.
But we definitely spoke about this a few weeks ago, either on text or on the episode, where he was doing this to Oscar somewhere, and Max does this thing during fucking safety car where he drives right up alongside them to try and make them, like, to put them off. And I think it's the worst fucking sportsmanship. I know you're allowed to do it. That's fine. But I think it's a really bad sportsman thing to do.
Hold on.
So for George...
No, you're not allowed to do it anymore because of Max.
You zip it. Just wait. What? Diggs, the reason why Max does that, or most drivers do it, is because they don't know when the driver in front is going to...
yes, I understand that, Ollie.
But
he does it.
I'm in your favour here because there was no way it wasn't going to be an end of a safety car. So why was he doing it?
No. So what I'm saying is, he doesn't do this just before they drive away. He does it the whole fucking time.
Just delete
and I have
said.
been waiting for someone to brake check him for so fucking long. I'm actually really glad it was George, because I was like, it must be so annoying. This guy, it's like, it's like just getting in your head.
Well, no,
George,
is there going,
you know you're not allowed to do it. And when George, hold on. When George did brake, it wasn't a brake check.
No,
it was pretty slow, and Max wasn't paying any attention.
He didn't actually
brake, so sucked in.
He didn't brake. He just took his foot off the accelerator. He took his foot off.
Oh well, that's even better. Even better.
Max
there we go.
was doing this the year that he beat Lewis. He was doing that all season, and it was the first time anybody had actually done it.
He brake checked me.
The like hurrying up the front car by driving alongside him, and it's like flipping him the bird or something. It's super dangerous because you don't know if that guy's still weaving to get his tire, like
keep his tires.
Like, and it's a safety car. It's meant to be safe, not you. Like, it's almost as if you're running next to somebody and you keep like pranking them as if you're going to ankle tap them. Nearly.
All they had to accuse George of foul play when Max, by doing that every week, is the one causing the issue. And I just have been... I don't understand why the drivers let him do that. Like, I was watching Oscar, and you can see Oscar kind of being pushed forward. I was like, dude, it's not your problem. If he drives in front of you, that's his fault.
Yeah, sure.
Like, let him drive in front of you.
You need to keep a gap, though. You need to keep two car lengths.
You guys know this better than anyone. This entire sport is built on the mental advantage. Like,
sure, but
good
don't
on
get me
him.
wrong.
Fucking legend.
Sure. What I didn't get is like, why is no one just slowing down and like forcing him in front? Like, they don't have to drive faster. They can drive as slow as they like. There's a limit.
There's a limit.
They don't have to speed up. They don't have to speed up if Max is egging them on. So why isn't anyone just letting them drive in front?
So can I ask you a question? If you're saying that what Max is doing is wrong, why on earth did it take 5 hours for them to confirm that, in fact, George didn't do anything wrong?
I don't think what Max is doing is wrong per se. I just don't understand why no one... it's unsportsmanlike to a degree, and no one was exploiting it, which I found confusing. Then when George does it, obviously they put the complaint in. I assume there's red tape you have to go through. Once the complaint's through, they have to check everything with a fine-tooth comb. Yep. So you don't say that it's this, and then they pull you up for something else later.
It's like a legally binding challenge as well. You can't just like flag it. It's not like in NFL where they just like throw a flag on the
flag.
It's like, you have to fill out so much paperwork just to lodge. It's an official complaint. And the paperwork is like 6 to 12 pages long of just... Like, you have to detail everything.
I was just going to say, how much do you reckon that Red Bull's already half filled it all out before the race even starts?
They've got pre-filled complaint sheets.
Which driver?
Because they know that Max would do it.
Exactly. It's already got like Piastri's name and they have to cross it out and put George in.
All right, well, look, let's actually round out Max. We're talking about Max. Obviously, pretty disciplined performance. I thought he secured second place to this point, and I think broadly speaking, the additional context to did George brake text him? That would go down well. Did he brake check him? Because I guess where Red Bull were leaning in on, and certainly Christian Horner's comments after the race would suggest, and again the language of clean, disciplined performance would suggest that they were trying to avoid or deal with the reality that he's on these 11 super licensed demerit points or whatever it is. A lot of talk, again, mostly from media. I can't say it's definitively come out of Red Bull camp about how, there was a lot of provocation. How do you say that word?
Provocation. Provocation.
Is that right? Yeah. Anyways, suggesting that there was a lot of like gamemanship going on by other drivers trying to bait Max in, which I think is weird and interesting all in one. Anyways, he maintained composure. He ultimately avoided any incidences, including the one that we've just spoken about. Horner, as I said, came out and said his driving was crucial. His clean driving was crucial. Really important win or second place for him by way of points, keeping him, weirdly enough, still kind of in the hunt. There's 14 races to go, gents. He's only 21 points behind Lando. He is 43 behind Oscar, but that's not amounts we've not seen kind of close before. I think you guys will remember there have been seasons where like it's gone. I think it was last year, Max had a massive lead and then it got cut down. And then even in I think it was the Lewis year that Max ended up winning his first championship. Lewis was ahead by 40 or 50 at one stage and ended up, so it can be closed. And again, we'll get to McLaren, but they have another couple of weekends like that, and it's going to close pretty damn quickly. But I guess the couple of things to talk about Max's race that we haven't already touched on is the fact that Max is still doing it all by himself. Again,
so much.
Yeah, you look at that kind of top 10 on the weekend. Obviously, you had, and we'll get to Antonelli in a minute for Mercedes, but we alluded to the fact that he got third, so you've got the two Mercedes up there in 1 and 3. You would have had both McLarens up there. Should have Lando not have...
his mature racecraft.
Yeah, his mature racecraft. I mean, look, to be honest with you, there must be some significant racecraft there because he identified a gap that nobody else did, probably because it wasn't
except
there.
for Jacques Villeneuve.
It never existed.
Except for Jacques, and we'll get to Jacques in a minute. The Ferraris were next to each other. I would have suspected Williams would have been a lot closer, but Albon's had an awful weekend. Anyway, So, look, he's still doing it by himself. It came out over the weekend that the rumoured Yuki replacement, Isaac Hadjar, who also had a really awful weekend. In fact, the Racing Bulls were pretty awful over the weekend.
Yeah.
Liam was another DNF, which I know, Diggs, you're becoming a big fan of Liam, or at least his music. You love his music.
Oh yeah, mate. Yeah, anytime. So after the race, they asked him what caused the DNF, and Liam during the interview just looked down the camera and just simply stated, "I'm Liam Lawson." No, it was they had a cooling issue. They had a cooling issue with the car.
Did they?
I must say, we talked. I don't want to sit on this, but we talked about how rude Max had been lately. Recently, we don't need to keep harping on about that. But did you see how polite he was to Nico Rosberg, and how
it's interesting?
What a lovely little conversation they had. It must be a lot of respect there from him, or it's just he certainly has no time for the Brits anymore.
Let's get back to that. Yeah. Want to round out the Yuki Hadjar thing. So it came out over the weekend. And speaking of the fresh-faced rookie, Isaac.
Doing well.
He's come out and admitted that he doesn't feel ready for a promotion to the main Red Bull team. He's expressed his concerns about the complexity of the car being obviously one of the core reasons. Very quickly, for me, this feels like we never know who's actually said what, but is this an actual smart play for him? We've joked about him saying no if he was asked, and the fact that he really couldn't actually say no, but is that the type of stuff Red Bull would want to hear? Like, wouldn't they? Like, you think about Liam Lawson, you think about Yuki, every single time their name got thrown around as potential, they'd be like, if I was asked, I'd step up, I'd be ready. And Hadjar's like, no, I'm not ready. I'm not ready, miss.
I think he's seen what's happened, right? So he'd be silly to be like, yeah, put me in it, I can do better. When
but
everyone who said that...
Would Marco be happy hearing that shit?
Probably not.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought...
He accused him of crying, like there's no crying in baseball and all this. And like, why would you want to go work for a boss who's already publicly
Well, they are working for the boss. They're already there. They're already
Yeah, I
there.
know, but it's, at least he's in a different garage. Like,
It's right. Vettel's coming soon. He'll look after
Yeah,
him.
sure. Wouldn't that be wonderful? All right. Well, let's go back to Max, and where Digby was just kind of alluding to there. I agree, Diggs. I saw that interview between he and Rosberg, and I thought it was great. And actually, I've told you guys a couple of times this year that there are moments where I will listen to Max. I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, and again, maybe because he's not winning, he's back in my like, oh yeah, go Max type vibe. Whereas when he was winning, I was like, nah, fuck Max. And again, just to reiterate for all those new listeners or those that are still on the edge of whether or not they're going to keep tuning in, we hate everyone equally. Like we just love to
Except
build
Stroll.
up, except for Stroll. We just love to build up the heroes and then we love to chop them down. But there's a couple of things that I want to call out. And Diggs, to your point about does he respect Rosberg, which is why he's nicer to him, I think Max is genuinely quite good until he is asked a question which he has made apparent that he wants nothing to do with that fucking question.
Yeah.
So let me give you a
Like
couple
he's over
examples,
it.
right? Yeah. So like we all spoke last week about what happened with poor old Rachel and how she interviewed him immediately after and he was awful. Also, just so I don't know if you guys were aware, but Rachel had to actually ban all comments and shut down some of her social media because of the absolute vitriol she was getting post that interview.
From the fans.
Fuck.
Jeez.
surprise.
Yeah.
I'm
So
not
Keyboard
apparently-
warriors.
Yeah, she was
Good
getting
on-
Good on
so
internet.
so much hate. But so you can imagine that, like, I mean, granted that they've had the week off of racing, but first of all, that's all Max got questioned about after the race. And then he turns up, he has just another suite of questioning, particularly after George and he qualified on the front row together. Like, of all people to qualify next
so
to
it's
each
an
other.
exciting talking point.
It is, right? But he obviously continued to cop a stack of questions about his penalty point situation. And when he was asked again post-qualifying, have you guys seen it? Have you seen he's in the...
Yeah.
he's
where-
actually
where it
with
just
George.
shuts down the question.
He's with George.
Yeah.
And he gets asked a question by someone in the media pit in the media session. And he couldn't have made it any more apparent that he was fucking done with talking about this. He goes, literally, I'm going to try and get this verbatim. I don't need to hear this again, Verstappen said. It's all really pissing me off. It is such a waste of time. It's very childish. A few days earlier, and I don't know if you guys have seen this, but Verstappen wasn't particularly impressed by the line of questioning that Ted Kravitz had posed in another Sky F1 interview, which resulted in actually one of the more awkward interviews. Like, Ted had to come out and release a statement afterwards to justify the line of questioning and what it was all about. I don't know if you guys
Which
seen
is
it.
outrageous.
But
Yeah.
like, they've obviously changed a personnel in at Red Bull. I can't remember. Ev, obviously you'd know. And this is the person who's supposed to kind of have a grasp of the rules. And Ted's questioning was around the idea that, you know, like, why did Lambiase ask you to give that position back? You know, surely the person that knows the rules would have known you weren't going to have to give that position back. But he called out the person's name, and Max was like, oh, you can't just blame it on one person. We're a team, you know. We don't just kind of go after one person. And anyways, it's a really tense interview. And then, as I mentioned, only a couple of weeks ago, Rachel copped an incredibly terse response, albeit to say this is happening elsewhere. We've spoken about Lewis. You know, he's been very terse in some interviews. So, a couple of questions, gents. It's not the first time that there's been tension between Red Bull between Red Bull and the press, notably Sky F1. We laugh about the fact that it's an English bias thing, but I actually think that has a big part of it. That, you know, Max probably feels like the British journos have had more in for him than
He's the
most.
villain. Yeah.
But also, that's what happens when you become a world champ, right? Is you're elevated to a level where everybody wants to talk to you, everybody wants to get answers out of you. You might recall, actually, that Red Bull withdrew media privileges from Sky back in 2022, all around the cost cap stuff.
This
and
isn't
then-
like, it's not gotcha journlism either. Nobody has ever accused Ted Kravitz or any of the Sky F1 of being like overtly.
Gotcha.
Like they're not
Like the Sun.
harassing. Yeah, it's really
Also-
bland journalism, and the fact that, and I can understand if you get asked the same question 100 times, it's really not only grating, but it's Like Digby and I have to do radio sometimes, and it's like I have to ask the same question, and I'm only doing it like
same story
6 times.
every
Yeah,
time.
and it's like for them to have to do it
can-
all the time.
I can
your job.
understand. I can
Yeah, it's true,
understand
it is,
when
yeah.
it's like different media outlets who are wanting to get their quote right.
But that
if
is the
it's
challenge, is you do have-
Yeah. But if it's the same, like say for instance, as Sky, and they're constantly asking the same question, clearly you got to ask yourself, as the one being asked that question, I'm clearly not giving a satisfactory answer. I'm either jumping around corners
take.
or like
Good take.
avoiding actually answering the question. Hence why they keep coming fucking back.
Or
and
unless there is
asking
an
the
element
question.
of gotcha, right? Like unless like
Well,
I'm not
but
saying it's,
is there?
well, I'm
No.
not saying
Okay,
it's
so-
gotcha
so-
journalism. But,
No, I know you're not.
But you
I'm
want
saying
them to
Max
say
is acting
something.
like it is.
but
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
The defensiveness.
Yes,
My,
except in this scenario, Ted's question was rather like for someone like me who doesn't know all the ins and outs. I was like, "Oh, it's a really good question." Like, I'm actually
Like,
quite,
why-
I'm quite
Interested.
interested to know why. Why wouldn't he say that? And then to Max to flip it and go, "Well, don't single him out." It's like he didn't single him out. He literally just said that's like saying, "Oh, your wheel wasn't screwed on properly. Why wasn't Michael? Why do you think Michael, the wheel guy, wasn't ready for you? Oh, it's a team effort. Don't single out the guy who couldn't put my wheel on." It's like, well, I didn't, but that's what happened. And
Yeah.
then for him to turn around to the other guy and say, "I think this is all childish." It is childish, Max. You're the child.
Yeah.
We're asking you the questions. You're the dumb shit who put yourself in this position. Now it's your job to answer the questions
accountability.
because you did something fucking stupid. I don't care if you don't like the question. You're the reason that you're getting asked this. It takes 2 seconds to say something else. Now, in his defense, I didn't see everyone interviewing him. So if that was the 10th time and he feels like he's answered the question, that's okay. Answer
Right.
like that all
So
you
the
want.
next question-
But as Tay said, perhaps you're not answering the question.
Yep.
So the next question I had for you guys was, has Max got a media presentation problem? But I think you've just answered your perspective on that. And Tay, I think you've alluded to it. And in fact, actually, Ev, I think you have. So you guys all think that this is a media presentation problem from Max's behalf. Do you actually
I
like
think
it when
he
the
doesn't
drivers
respect
stand up?
people.
You think it's a
I
respect
think he has a
thing?
problem. Well, I think when he talked to Nico wasn't like asking softball questions, but he seems very happy and like matter of fact with Nico when they were chatting. But I feel like with Ted, like that was a matter of fact question too, and he just snaps at Ted. I was
Yeah,
like,
okay.
I don't think you like him.
But I
And
wonder
maybe
if
with
it's
Rachel
down
too, I don't know.
to. I wonder if it's down to the fact that Nico isn't constantly asking him those questions.
But is Ted constantly asking him
No.
those questions? No. Here's the thing. If you're Max, you have 2 ways of dealing with it. Either you sit there and get angry at everyone because you don't like the question, or you can jovially Ted, I know what you're trying to do, Ted. Hey, no, that's not
Putting
what
a few
laugh
pounds
about
there,
it.
Ted, have you?
What,
Hey,
like,
couple of
why-
poutines,
why
Ted.
not just laugh and have a good time? In my experience, people who get snappy tend to be defensive because they feel guilty.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
if he can't laugh about it, he's either got someone at home fucking waiting for him, or he just like some people just never learn to laugh about the situation. When you, like Ev said, when you're having to answer questions again and again, if you go in with a positive mindset, you come out feeling
There
better.
you go. There you go. Digby has just nominated him. You've nominated yourself for Max's new media trainer. So do you actually like it when the drivers stand up for themselves, or you think there is a line here?
I like when they stand up for themselves.
I
I,
think
don't think he was standing up for himself. I think he was
Okay.
being a jerk.
But yeah, okay.
But if because I thought he was actually going to answer Ted and be like, yeah, I mean, I don't want you to sing like, yes, this happens from time to time, but don't you think it's a bit unfair to single him out, Ted? I wasn't singling him out. I was just explaining it. Fair enough, mate. But
I think
there's a
that's
way to
how the
have that
line of
conversation
questioning
and stand up for
started,
yourself.
and then Max just doubled down. Like I feel like he went there, and then it just kind of all spiraled. Anyways, I like the show of personality. I think, broadly speaking, every one of these drivers has their role to play. They've all got their own little characters, and if Max wants, I think he's always kind of. Actually, I was listening to something the other day, and I can't remember what it was, but it was this talk, and they threw out Lewis and Max. Oh, fuck, it's going to come back to me. But talk about how when you get these drivers alone, they talk so much about how they feel the world is out against them, that the world is against them. And actually, that's what motivates them to go on to become the best in the world, because they feel like they're up against everything. Now, we know Lewis's narrative there. Max feels like a narrative that's come out of nowhere, but maybe because he's always been quite a bold and brash character, that maybe that's what his narrative is. Even before he was a world champ, he felt like everyone was against him. But anyways, look, I want to go back to just to round out the podium, because we've covered off first and second. Touched on it earlier. Mercedes with their first double podium of the year, because Kimi Antonelli also grabbed his first ever podium. He actually, gents, is the third youngest podium finisher of all time. So he's not quite 19. And yeah, it's incredible with the third place in Montreal over the weekend. He's actually heading home this week to take his school exams. I think we mused about that a couple of weeks ago, about the fact that he was going to have to squeeze them in. But yeah, he's the first Italian to finish on the podium in a very long time. And yeah, obviously with him and Russell's scoring, Mercedes have moved back into second in the Constructors' Championship.
I love how it's like, so whenever you hear, was it Gal Gadot? And
now who can't
Wonder
fucking
Woman.
pronounce names?
And then there was a supermodel, an Israeli supermodel as well. And so and Koreans too, they have to do
Where the
like
fuck is
they
she
have
going?
to serve.
2 years
They have
of
to serve.
military. And I'm like,
Yeah,
excuse me, I don't think anyone's putting a 6'3" supermodel on the front lines. Oh, I'm serving. Let's see her
What has
do.
this
point,
got
Ev?
to do with Antonelli?
Yeah, what's your
Because
point?
it's like he has to go back and do school. Like, he doesn't need school, all right? He doesn't need it. He's richer than all of his classmates combined in their, like, whole lifetime's worth of wealth. Like, yeah, what a joke
he
this
wouldn't
is.
be earning that much money yet. But I tell you what, he'd be doing
No,
a
yeah,
damn
that's
good
true.
job of knocking down a pretty substantial contract for a very near future lock-in.
Yeah.
Anyways, I love him. Look, you know, he'd gone through, we spoke about it last week, he'd gone through a triple header without scoring any points after having what was a pretty awesome first 2 months of F1. So, yeah, wicked for him. That's awesome. It must be so fucking hard for Lewis. It must be so hard for Lewis, who's obviously got a first place in a sprint, but to sit there and see, you know, Mercedes second in the championship, George winning a race, Antonelli coming third, and Lewis is just driving around in fucking
That's my old
some
team.
pig of a car. Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, sorry, Tay, you were going to say something?
No.
Lewis is like, I had my way with that team. I was bored with it.
That wasn't
alright.
challenging.
I did every position with that team.
Let's talk probably the biggest speaking point of the race. We've held it back a little bit. Let's talk McLaren. So broadly speaking, I kind of alluded to it before, probably the worst weekend for them for some time.
This season.
Yeah, so Oscar finished fourth, which, gents, I'm not sure if you were aware, but that is his first race in 9 races since he hasn't finished on the podium. So had he have finished on the podium on the weekend, he would have equaled McLaren's record with Lewis Hamilton of 9 podiums in a row, which is awesome.
What a shame.
But he missed it.
So that really bugs me. It really bugs me.
So close yet so far.
Yeah, and look, you know, probably culminating, and without question, the nail in the coffin for the poor weekend for McLaren was the inevitable collision between Oscar and his teammate Lando. And I say inevitable, we have spoken about it. Everybody's spoken about it. It's wild that we've made it into, round 11, and those two actually hadn't had a clash. But here we are. So we've got a bit to unpack here. For those that missed it, the crash ultimately is what caused that safety car, which the race ended on, with a few laps to go following. And I will say, gents, before the clip, it was great racing between the two of them. It was really, really good.
Yeah, it was fun.
Wheel
It was
racing.
fun to watch.
Oscar
It
was
was
doing
the
a good
only.
job. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. There was actually a lot of good racing during the weekend's race. I must say though, if they cut to that fucking DRS line of like 13th to 18th one more time, it's like, and I get that's where the only kind of potential of racing is, but it's just, that's the challenge,
It's
isn't
so
it? It's such
boring.
a non-event watching the same people who aren't even vying for points. Anyways, some really great racing between Oscar and Lando. I actually thought Lando had him, and then Oscar still made a way to fight back. They made it through past the Wall of Champions. They're going down the grid straight. Obviously, the start and finish. I think there's like 3 laps to go. Oscar managed to get back in front of Lando thanks to getting in the slipstream after Lando got him on the previous corner. Took the position back. Lando was sitting behind him and for whatever reason decided to go left instead of to go right. There was no fucking gap. He clipped Oscar. His entire front wing just exploded, which we didn't talk about. Oh, we'll talk about it later, but somebody remind me to talk about how Albon's car just exploded. Oh,
yeah, that's
like the whole thing just fucking. And I don't mean in terms of a fireball.
But then he went 4-wheel driving. Fine, absolutely fine.
Yeah. But we'll get to, but yeah. So he's clipped Oscar because he's mistimed the space or misjudged the space, and then as clipping him, he's fucking wiped out the whole side of his car. That's it. Game over.
Took out
Game
his
over.
front left.
Right. That's it. Lando rode himself out of the race. Team principal Andrea Stella acknowledged that such an incident was anticipated given the competitive nature of both drivers. And to be honest with you guys, it's probably the best outcome, right? It's an event where there's not a huge amount
Maybe
on
if
the
you're
line.
McLaren.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean.
That was
if you're
so
McLaren,
boring. It was such a whimper. We've been waiting for this explosion.
Yeah. Why not
and then it was like, he was going to get him. And then it's almost like he overly hesitated because there was a gap way before it. And then Oscar started moving over, and he's gone, oh, the gap.
Well, no,
and just
Oscar just
like
stayed
closed
on the
his
racing
eyes
line.
and driven.
Oscar stayed on the racing line.
Jesus, take the wheel.
But to that point, Diggs, so I guess what I meant by the fact that, it's probably the best outcome. So not great for Lando because he lost 10 points. You know, he's now 22 points behind Piastri. He would have only been 12. But I mean, it's obviously minimal damage to their constructors' lead. They're so far ahead.
Yeah.
Look, Oscar lost a couple of points to Max and George, but he's still quite far ahead, so that's okay. And importantly, it didn't seem to incite any real tension between the two drivers that would ultimately cause... Well, it would have caused a much bigger problem for the team, I think, if it was
overall.
a genuine blow-up, right?
Yeah.
Like, they don't
But what I'm saying is, the actual crash... This is why I say it's a whimper. The crash itself, neither driver did anything... Obviously, Lando did something stupid, but not stupid in a way that kind of put Oscar at danger. He only really put himself at danger.
Yeah.
It was stupid for him to try that. He didn't try some dumbass move, which
it wasn't a
pushed
Rosberg
Oscar off the
Hamilton.
road. And they
It was, exactly.
No.
That's what I was just going to say.
And
Yeah.
what
Do you
was
wish it
interesting
was?
that he probably...
Yes.
Yes, I do. I would have much rather
fucking
that
know.
as a
Who
TV
doesn't? I wish that blew up.
And you were saying you love Lando more because he admitted defeat. I understand.
Took accountability.
Poor Lando. Where else was the accountability going? Somehow Jacques Villeneuve found it. I almost would have rathered him get arrogant about it because it would have been more entertaining. Good on him. What was he going to say? Oh, that was a gap, and he didn't. We know you didn't. You have no choice.
You know what?
You have to say that.
Do you know what I wish had happened? And look, I'm gonna jump there. So again, obviously, you gents, you were happy to know another pod favorite has come out to have his voice heard. So 1997 F1 World Champion Jacques Villeneuve, he criticised Oscar Piastri's role in the collision with teammate Norris, describing Piastri's defensive move as nasty. Villeneuve suggested that Piastri's gradual movement towards the left contributed to the incident, implying that both drivers should have shared responsibility.
That's the racing line.
So obviously this
I love that he even said gradual.
But you know what's the fucking wildest thing is? He's come out and said this after Lando has said, "I'm so sorry. That all on me.
Fault.
I fucked that."
Yeah.
So it's first of all, so there's two things I want to say here. First of all, it's Jacques, shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. Why are you even
Billy
talking
Idol
about
cunt.
this? Yeah, look at you stupid. But second of all,
What would
I
your
wish
father say,
Lando-
Jacques?
I wish Lando was the one that said that. I wish Lando was
They
Jacques
told
in
him
this
to shut up.
instance,
Yeah.
and Lando was like, "Oh, you fucking closed the gap on me."
But
fuck Oscar.
also use the word gradual. It's the importance noting that Jacques said, "Oh, what a dangerous but gradual
Yeah.
move
So what do you
over to the
expect
side."
people to do when they're in the lead? You fucking-
What would
All
imagine Lando
Austin-
saying that? I don't know what happened. He slowly and gradually moved over.
All I could think of is Austin
couldn't do
Powers, where
anything
they're
about
driving.
It's like Austin
Exactly.
When they're driving
Powers,
the
slow-mo.
steamroller, and he puts it at full speed, and it goes half a hill. It's
But I'll tell you, let me tell you what I look. And you're right, Diggs. I've obviously been what do you call it? Waving the Lando flag for a little while because I like Lando. I think he's great for F1 and I think he's such a great personality and he's raw and he's human and he's lovable. I like him. He's not a world champion. He's proved it again. Yeah. But what I wanted to see is Lando get out of the car, go to the garage. And remember when Verstappen pushed Ocon? I wanted to see that. I want to see those two fucking going. But they're not. Like, and you know what also super funny? You know how, like, Oscar doesn't get elated about anything, whether angry or happy?
Yeah.
Zero.
The radio straight afterwards to Oscar, he's like, yep, okay. Like, nothing. There's, like, no level. There's, like,
he may not have felt
probably
it.
didn't
even know what had happened.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, something brushed my wheel.
Yeah.
I meant to put this in the notes, but I totally forgot about it until we started talking about this. I didn't know you weren't allowed to speak to your press lady or any of the team if you're on the podium before the interview.
Yes,
you're not allowed to talk to anyone.
Yeah.
I did not know that. So Oscar was having words with his team moments after he pulled over, and they mentioned it. They said, you're not allowed to do that if you're on the podium. So now they're probably saying, this is what you got to say.
This is what you got to say.
Do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
She would have said
post-race interviews way better.
She would have said something like, so obviously Lando crashed out. He would have known that because he's driven past the crashed out car. And she would have said, look, Lando came on the radio straight after and completely admitted fault and apologized to the team. So there's nothing to talk about.
So let it go. Yeah. Yeah, but Oscar wouldn't talk about it anyway. However, I bet you guys, they don't have rear view mirrors like we do in this session, but I can guarantee you Oscar would have been driving away looking in his side mirror with a big smirk going, that's my biggest competitor for this world championship, and he's just gone and crashed himself out. Like, he'll obviously play straight back.
A mate of mine, we play football together, and he said one time that, like, oh, isn't it it's the worst thing when you get tackled really badly or like you get fouled. We're over 35s now, so like sometimes you get bad tackles at our age.
Over 30.
Well over.
And he goes,
40, mate.
yeah. Well, I'm not over 40s yet. Anyway, he goes, it's the worst thing when you get kicked and you go down. This would be the same in rugby and basketball, anything. You get kicked and you like, you don't remember how you got up, but how you fell down and how you get back up when you're that angry is like you kind of do a spin maneuver and like you kind of Yukio your way back up because you're ready to just throw a punch. And he said it's the most frustrating thing when somebody is like already apologizing as you're going down.
Yeah.
Because like all I want to do is punch you square in the face, and you're so
like,
nice.
I'm sorry.
Oh God!
Why did you punch me?
What I found interesting
I'm sorry, I'm punching you.
Is that apparently Lando was meant to receive, I think, 2 penalty points for that, causing a collision.
Well, he didn't get it. No, you got a 5-second penalty.
You
he
got
did
a
get a
penalty
5-second penalty, but it meant nothing because he DNF'd.
Yeah, but shouldn't he get a... But they
I don't know.
were saying that he should have gotten 2 penalty points too.
Yeah, I don't know about these penalty points because they often get swept under the rug by the media because they're kind of inconsequential until you get right to
11.
the end.
11.
And so it's stuff like lots of guys, the majority of these penalty points come in free practice and qualifying. So if you hold someone up, like Liam Lawson held up, was it Leclerc? He like ruined Leclerc's run. So Lawson would have got a point for that, or 2 maybe if it was bad. So it's quite rare that it happens during a race that there's something that demands penalty point. It's usually kind of like the incompetence that everybody has in qualifying and free practice.
Did everyone receive penalty points? There was a handful of drivers who passed cars during the safety car post-race. Yep. Did they get penalty points for that?
I don't know, but there was like
not
5 or
penalty
6
points,
drivers got...
Oh, it's a warning. They got warnings.
Yeah, they got warnings.
There was a whole bunch of drivers that got warned about
like
that.
5-second penalties.
Yeah, Piastri was one of them. It was one of those gotcha headlines.
Yeah.
Piastri punished for a major event, and it's like, no, it's completely different.
Anyway,
Relax,
so just out of curiosity, and again, I don't want to labour on this for too much longer, but I mean, does anything change? Again, I love how I do love Stella. I think Andrea Stella is incredible, particularly in front of the media. Does anything change at McLaren, or
Let him race. Let him race.
I mean, maybe Lando feels more second than ever.
He's outfoxed in the space of like 4 races. He's outfoxed Max Verstappen in Miami, and now his own teammate it was so easy
clinical driving
for Piastri, as you said. And I agreed with you. Like the camera angle they had on the telecast looked like Lando had done the overtake before the chicane, and then like out of nowhere, because Piastri wasn't phased. He just had the driving line, so he could brake later, and just took it. And it's like, oh, it's that easy.
He's just a great
None
driver.
of this like Max Verstappen cutting people off or anything like that. It's really impressive.
Oscar is an incredible driver. I don't know if he's going to be like a multi-world champ. I think he's definitely going to grab this one. But I don't think he's as fast as Lando. The telemetry data alone says that Lando is quick.
Over 1 lap, Lando's faster. Statistically,
just not
tortoise in the hair. Tortoise in the hair.
True. That's a very good analogy, Tay. I'm surprised you even read that. It's probably the last book you read, actually.
Was Tay?
He only just read it.
That's
why he's announcing it to us.
So let's go. Let's talk Ferrari. 5th and 6th again. Charles 5th, Lewis 6th. Look, another challenging weekend, both on and off track for Ferrari. Firstly, let's kind of cover off Charles. So he lost almost all of Friday's running after that pretty awful crash. Bit uncharacteristic. I didn't actually see it. I missed FP1. I mean, was it a driver error? Like, did he just, like, what happened there? He
missed the corner and understeered into the, he was going too fast and understeered into the wall.
Didn't have his DRS open, did he, buddy? Yeah, good for you. Apparently he looked quite quick out of the box. He ended up 8th in qualifying, which is obviously pretty ordinary for Ferrari, having believed actually pre-quali that he thought he could have actually been up there for pole. He recovered to 5th during the race. As I said, Lewis came behind him. Lewis also, by all accounts, looked relatively quick. However, gents, weirdly enough, after last week's Hast You Been Paying Attention question about who hit a groundhog in 2007 at Canadian Grand Prix, poor old Lewis has gone and hit a fucking groundhog this weekend and apparently caused quite a bit of damage to his car, which is why he struggled.
What was the result? What was the result he expected if he hadn't hit the groundhog? Because from what I can see, all the cars finished relatively close to each other. I mean, Mercedes obviously had their number this week. They're 1 and 3. Yeah. Ferrari didn't improve.
But remember, I think Lewis qualified.
Groundhog Lewis.
He qualified 4th though, didn't he? I thought he qualified really well. So I think the car actually looked all right. Charles just had a really bad race, but Lewis, by all accounts, was doing okay and
should have been better.
Would have actually done quite well had he have not sustained that
damage.
Look at you fucker.
Crofty was saying
Williams had damage. That's the team that had damage. Ferrari had a Ferrari.
No, but Crofty was saying that he was potentially losing a few seconds a lap because of that damage.
I don't think it was. I think it would have had to have been hundreds,
and he came 6th. Fuck off.
It would have had to have been hundreds.
Well, maybe not a few seconds.
No, it's a
no wonder Max snaps at 10.
Half a
It's just
second a lap,
England.
Half a second a lap then.
Tay like half a second versus a few seconds means nothing.
One time I was driving on Sydney streets.
What'd you hit? If you're about to admit that you hit a person, do not continue this conversation.
It was still daylight, but it was like late in the afternoon.
This is the axle?
No, this isn't that. There was a garbage bag on a black bin bag on the road. And the car in front of me swerved around it. And I thought, it just looks like it's blowing. And it's just like, obviously, someone's had their boot open or what have you. And it's a bit of garbage. Anyway, for whatever reason, I wasn't even thinking. And I swerved around it. The car behind me didn't. And what was inside the bag was an entire wheel and tire. And it ruined this Audi that this guy was... Because he just thought, I'll just drive over it. And... It's like it just destroyed the front grille.
Did you
and
Did
all
you
of the,
do an
and
Oscar?
I just
on
drove
that
away.
fast
I
and
drove
loose.
away, and I was just like, "Good God!" And so this guy hits a groundhog, which is like solid, like muscly. It's like a,
Bill Murray.
it's like a Bill Murray. It's like if you hit Bill Murray.
All right, okay.
Groundhog Day.
So look, fucking hell, poor old Lewis. He's not having a good time of it. Look, it's pretty much the same story for Ferrari this weekend. They're anything but inconsistently consistent. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just every week it's the same
You know what-
old
It's no
fucking
surprise.
No, I don't
Yeah,
know what I meant.
yeah.
If I had to figure out whether or not I had
week
my-
to week, they just tape up the problem as it comes along, not thinking about the
Yeah.
future of the
Well, that's
where
what
the
I mean,
next
like,
problem could come from.
Every week, it's unhappy drivers, poor race decisions, some bad luck, and moments of excitement mixed in the middle of most disappointment. There's a few very quick things I want to touch base here. Martin Brundle speculated that Charles Leclerc might consider leaving Ferrari, given where the team's at, his concern for 2026, and not having a competitive car capable of winning championships. He suggested Leclerc could explore opportunities with teams like Red Bull and McLaren, especially, obviously, as I said, with the regulatory changes for next year. These comments have added fuel to existing rumours about Leclerc's future in F1. No one's actually 100% clear if his current contract includes next year or is up to next year. I tried to do some digging there, but unfortunately couldn't get any answers. Out of curiosity, where would you guys actually love to see Charles, if not in Ferrari? A winning Ferrari, mind you. And did you see the rounds of him in a Red Bull suit next to Max in a Red Bull suit?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I saw it.
It's
So
just
in
a
all
racing
honesty,
incident.
I don't see
trying
them
to
being
think where you'd
teammates.
want to put him. I don't really want him in any of the other teams, except I would love to see him with Max in Red Bull. I think
Really?
that would be a really exciting team.
Okay, so here's
because I wouldn't want him to go to Mercedes. That'd be a bit boring. McLaren, I like the.
so
pair
here's a
they've got
question
at the
then, Diggs.
moment.
Here's a question,
And it
Just
starts
so-
getting worse after that.
the fact that you like the idea of him. Can you ever foresee a world at Red Bull under the current leadership, bearing in mind that every year since we started following F1, that every other Red Bull driver has always been there just to support Max? You cannot, can you see a world where they're allowed to race exists at Red Bull? Because Charles is not Sergio Perez. He's not Yuki.
No,
Yeah.
he's not. I know. But what I'm sick of seeing is Max on his own. I just want another teammate, so it's not Max versus Mercedes. It's Max and Charles.
You know what
It's
would be
like
hilarious?
I just love to see them as a team. They just haven't felt like a team this whole time. It just feels like the Max show.
Well, it
I'm getting
doesn't-
pretty sick of it.
I mean, you can't have a team when you're swapping out the driver all the fucking time.
Yep.
Okay, all right. Well, we're not talking about that. We're not talking about Red Bull swapping out a driver. We're saying, where would you like to
I
see
know.
Charles?
Humour him, Tay.
Yeah, humour me, man. Fuck. Okay, no. You're like fucking Rosberg and,
No,
and
Villeneuve. Yeah.
Don't you fucking dare put me in that.
Put some rose glasses on. Yeah, where would you... I mean, could you guys see him at Aston? Would you love that?
I don't even think Aston's up there for it to be.
I think that would be a
favourable to him.
bad choice.
Depends,
Yeah.
Depends, right? Based on what Aston are talking about and spruiking. You got Adrian Newey there. Yep.
Yeah, they're sandbagging.
Oh, big
Or is that
sandbag.
the opposite?
Is
That's
that
the
what,
opposite,
is that what
mate.
Lawrence
That's the
was
opposite.
doing on the camera?
Yeah, they're not pretending to be
Nah,
shit, Tay.
Lawrence-
They are shit.
Lawrence was checking his balls to see if they still work because
Yeah,
his
that
was
current
bad.
son's
That was
useless.
bad.
So he's
Yeah,
like, "Ooh,
yeah.
do you think
He's
I
like,
could
"You know
get
what?
another one?
Do you know
Or
what?
There's still a few left."
And I ummed and ahed about whether or
Clone
not we should
another.
share this, but for anyone wondering what the fuck we're talking about, there's a moment in Ted's notebook after the race on Sunday, and Ted's cameraman's just in the fucking, whatever you call it, near the demountables in the area where all the drivers and team engineers,
Dementables.
and he's just running around. The bloke's
Like it's a
just running around.
public school.
He just films anything and everything while Ted just yammers away. Anyways, so he's looking down this roadway or whatever it is, and Lawrence
Pedestrian
Stroll
walk.
is walking up with his bodyguards and fucking whatever.
Entourage.
And I'm going to tell you. So what happens? What happens for those is, like, the camera's looking right at Lawrence, and you could see him starting to rearrange himself over the top of his
He's
pants.
a big man. He's
And
a big
then
man.
he digs his hand in and goes for a full proper
Just
dig
goes
to like
straight in.
fucking move his dick out of the way. But
Stroll. Smell
do you
it.
know what? Do you know what the scariest thing about all of that is, gents? Is that Lawrence never stopped staring at the camera while he was doing it. I reckon he knew he was being filmed. And he
It was a
like,
power move. It was
a power
dominating.
move.
It's
It was
a
a
fucking
domination.
Can you imagine being that cameraman and then thinking
He couldn't
back
move
to
away
the
quick enough when he
cameraman?
realised what
Yeah,
happened.
Yeah, exactly. But imagining going, God, I could have been a cameraman at Monaco. Of that classic shot of the dude filming the cameraman filming the chick on the boat, and then it's.
I don't know.
nah.
Yeah, I don't think you
A
should
long
go
time
wherever
ago.
you were going. But yeah,
No, it's
Oh.
nothing bad. She's just in a bikini.
Oh, okay. Hey, speaking of, I touched on Fred before, but Fred Vassar, look, he continues to face obviously a fair amount of scrutiny over Ferrari's performance and their strategic decisions. However, the team's management believe in long-term approach and is not seeking quick fixes, because there's a lot of rumors around that Fred needs to go. Lewis has come out, Charles has come out. Lewis actually came out and said he's the reason I'm here. So he's well loved. Surely Ferrari would be fucking mad to move on. Brundle actually came out and said that, you know, the idea of Fred being replaced there is absolutely nuts. You know, emphasizing that the real issue lies with the car performance and not Vassar's leadership. But as the boss, isn't the car performance under your remit? I couldn't separate that point.
I would have thought so, especially when if you look at how do you pronounce his name? The guy who was managing Ferrari when Schumacher, Todt or something, or he was saying as you know, whenever there was an issue with anything to do with the team, the car, whatever, he took full responsibility because that was his role.
Yeah.
So like, but then Schumacher, just like Lewis did for Fred, he's there going, well, no, you know, we are all about him. You know, he is our leader, blah, 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 blah. So I don't know. I think there are rumors.
Why isn't Max jumping to his defense? Why are you singling out Fred Vassar? It's a whole team, so why would you single him out? That seems unfair.
Good from you. Anyways, it'd be fucking wild because, like, I think the idea of
it'd
moving...
be a shame.
Well, it's not going to solve the problem. It's not going to solve the problem, right?
No, it's not. They're the problem.
Because the
but
problem
then is it
is
if
going
you
to take
get
a
the
while.
right leader in there?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
If you get the right leader on there, do you just solve the problem? Because look at Williams, right? I'm not.
We're not going to
blaming
solve the problem
everything
now.
on Claire, but
You're not going to solve the problem now, though.
What's the Williams? What's the Williams guy?
James Vowles.
James.
That's doing a fucking amazing job with Williams.
He's doing a great
job. There's an influence that the top guy has or girl has, which I think when you're doing well, or depending on your experience in coaches and things like that, and managerial stuff, you don't think it makes a huge difference until you get someone who makes a massive difference.
However,
and you're like, oh my God, I've never seen someone work so
but I think that's what
so
they
much
say
motivation into the team.
That's what they said about Fred. That's what Charles said about Fred when he turned up. My point is, I don't disagree with any of that, but my point is the problems that they have, which is week on week car performance, is not going to be solved quickly by having a new leader. I'm not saying it couldn't be solved longer term.
No. And
True,
what
true,
you're saying, I would have expanded on. That the fact that Charles is saying that means it's a drastic improvement.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
he is that guy who's making, and this is all they can get out of it currently. So unless you've got some magic guy to fly on in and fix everything,
loads of money,
you just got to hold strong
and no
for a
cost
while.
cap.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's quickly run through the final of the top 10. Seventh spot was Alonso. Look, he was at his brilliant best in Montreal. The Spaniard who has felt more comfortable with his Aston Martin since the upgrade was introduced in Imola. He secured his third top 6 start in the last 4 Grand Prix from a quality perspective.
That's amazing.
You know, obviously didn't quite have the same race pace. Didn't stop him finding a way to extract everything he had, and he took 7th, which is awesome. He's now scored in consecutive races, having failed to reach the top 10 in any of the first 8 races of the season. Also coming out of Alonso's weekend are the increasing rumours that he might be returning to Alpine, which again, depends what you want to read. Look, I suspect that there's an old connection there with Renault and obviously Flavio. I believe, actually, Aston Martin have come out and said, no, he remains committed to his contract, which runs through 2026, so he will be here next year. And they anticipated that they emphasised that there is no plans for Alonso to leave. I can absolutely assure you, particularly based on Lance Stroll finishing last again on the weekend, that if one driver is leaving Aston Martin, it ain't fucking Alonso. Actually, to be fair, Lance was walking behind Lawrence when Lawrence was fixing his package. It was like the whole entourage. Gents, other news out of the Alpine camp this weekend is
He's
that
his father's turtle.
Yeah.
I got Tay! Here was the last of my bingo card.
Well done.
Stupid fucking comment.
Gents, other news out of Alpine camp this weekend is that Renault Group CEO Luca De Meo announced his resignation, adding to the ongoing turmoil within that Alpine F1 team. Look, assuming that the truth lies somewhere between what journalists say versus what the team says, surely Alonso would be kidding himself to go back to Alpine. Why would he?
Yeah, it'd be weird.
Why would he?
He wouldn't turn down a paycheck, I'll tell you that much, though.
Well, yep, fair point. Yep. That's money talks, baby.
Aston Martin have looked after him very well too. He seems very happy there, so it would be odd for him
it seems
to
like it.
suddenly
And the
leave.
way he speaks about Stroll and his father is pretty crazy.
That's what a good pay slip does, mate.
Yeah, that's right.
Look, in 8th spot, Nico Hülkenberg. Tay, you could have used that as your fucking buzzer this week, mate. Look, he followed up his stunning P5 in Spain with another really impressive showing across the Canadian Grand Prix weekend. The kick driver lined up 12th, which was actually weirdly his best start since race 2 in China. And he raced into the points to take 8th for his top. Actually, that's his 3rd top 8 finish this year, which is quite impressive. Bortoletto is yet to score any points, and I don't have anything to talk about Bortoletto's race. However, did you gents know that he almost didn't make the Canadian Grand Prix because during the week his passport got nicked out of his car? So he had to organise an emergency.
Why did you leave? Why?
I know.
Why was he leaving his passport in his fucking car? Like
know.
when you know when you travel, it's either in the safe in your
Fiat.
hotel or you've got it. You're holding
Or
it
in a
to
bum bag.
no one's
put it in a
gonna
around
bum
his
bag.
waist.
Yeah.
Fucking passport
A
in the
Kappa
car.
one. Put it in a
Dumb
Kappa.
shit.
I could see him wearing it around his waist under his shirt.
He has to. He'll have to now. He'll drive with it. It'll be in one of those fucking travel packs.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, there's nothing more to say. I mean, to be fair, I can't believe Kick. Hulkenberg is like that's impressive. I didn't understand why
That's
Hulkenberg
amazing.
got brought
I
back
love
last
Nico.
year. Yeah, I never really been a massive fan, but yeah, he's
No.
all right. I don't know, he's a bit vanilla to me.
Yeah, he's very much like Iceman. Like, he's clearly like leaning into that.
Yeah. All right, look, let's quickly wrap up 9th and 10th spot. So 9th was Ocon, and actually Behrman in the other half was only just behind in 11th. Look, weirdly enough, Ocon's actually becoming a bit more of a regular inside our rear view review due to some recent top 10 finishes. Look, he executed a tremendous first stint on hard tyres. I think he lasted the longest. He went 58 laps of the 70. He went up from 14th. He qualified really badly, but finished 9th. It's his 4th Grand Prix points finish this season and 2nd top 10 in 3 events. So, yeah, it's a bit of form there. Actually, 9th was actually Haas's best ever finish in Canada. And it was their 200th on the weekend, which I find weird because it feels like Haas has been around for fucking ever. Maybe it's because of Drive to Survive that like they got a bit of exposure.
I think it's weird that Gene Haas is never at the races to the point where I don't know if he's under some sort of like UN guideline, like Mazepin's
Can't travel ban.
Yeah. Because they got into trouble because they found Haas machinery in Russia, and so Haas make like 3-axis CNC machinery, which then makes
they mold engines or whatever potentially.
So Russia was using it to make new parts for their tanks and things like that. That's what it's used for, just industrial milling. And they got into trouble because Russia had done a thing where they'd use a third party based in Germany to buy the stuff
parts.
And then to ship it into Russia. And so that was a big scandal in America for Haas.
Allegedly.
It's way more interesting if we're definitive,
Okay.
though, so people could correct us. We
right.
want people to correct you, sir.
I've not been wrong once.
All right, and lastly, in 10th spot, grabbing the last of the points of the weekend was another Spaniard, Carlos Sainz. Look, I don't have a huge... Yeah, we saw the signs. I mean, look, he's doing okay. I mean, there seems to be a few issues.
He had an issue with his car, didn't he?
I think there's broad issues at the moment. They've had a couple of really bad...
team, and that was Alex.
It didn't say what it was. They just said he had a technical issue that impeded him pushing further up the pack. Yeah. He did okay. Like Hudger fucked up his Q1.
Dropped.
And then... Albon was doing okay until he went four-wheel driving, and that kind of fucked him.
That was like the second lap.
Sainz... And Sainz still got 6 places up, and apparently his car was a bit fucked, so maybe he would have done better. Well, they were super confident coming into this weekend.
Just to Albon, so he DNF. They ended up retiring his car. I think that, to your point, I think, Tayo, you might have just mentioned it, that they seem to be going down. I think they've got some serious reliability issues. They've had a couple of problems, bit of luck, and bad luck in that instance, but... Albon, just so you know, he came out afterwards. He thought, well, actually, it was after quali. He thought P6 or P7 was possible. He remained really positive about scoring some strong points, even though he ended up qualifying 9th. He struggled on the first lap. To Digger's point, he took to the grass and literally, the weirdest thing is, was it qualifying that his car blew up, or was that no? It was qualifying where
where the side of it just
the whole
flew
side
out.
pod just exploded, not like
Q1,
like a bomb explosion, but like the wind had got underneath and sent it spinning. So it's weird. That was weird. They replaced that and he got it back out. But then seriously, seeing him flying over those mounds, it's not a surprise he didn't completely
forgot what race he was in.
Yeah, that's right. It was when he was going wheel to wheel with Colapinto, actually. He tried to make a one-stop work, and again, some serious tension between he and his engineer. Go and find it.
Yeah.
Go listen to the radio between the two of them. It's very after all this fucking hoo-haing about keeping him out, they then told him to pit, and he was like, "Are you joking? Why would you make me pit now? You've made me stay out this long. At least carry on with the strategy." Anyways, dropped him well out of the points. Then obviously, insult to injury, he was forced to retire with another power unit. Gents, the only other mention is Alpine, and I just want to kind of touch on them for two reasons. Because Colapinto, I think that was his 5th race, so he actually beat Gasly, finished 13th. Gasly was 15th. They remain rooted to the bottom of the team's of the Constructors' Championships. They have failed to score in 8 of the 10 Grand Prix this season. And there's clearly a lot of talk about who's going to replace who. We spoke about the CEO. Yeah, really, really weird time for that team. I don't know. I'll be surprised, to be honest with you, if they're on the grid in 2 years' time. But that's my hot take.
I was just going to say, I'm happy to see them go.
Yeah, I want them to go back to Renault.
Boring car, boring drivers.
I want them to go back to Renault.
It feels Renault.
Yellow and black was great.
Yellow and black, baby. Sam Smith.
Yeah.
All right.
Bring back Lotus.
All right.
Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow.
It's that time again. Buckle up and engage your extremely average levels of F1 knowledge, because it's time for Hush You've Been Paying Attention. The quiz that's less about knowing everything and more about knowing something, hopefully. Here's how it works. For anyone new or who's just been ignoring us, I'll ask 8 questions, some about Formula One, some about the country we've just raced in. This week, of course, is Canada, maple syrup and mousse and all that. Each of our 3 co-drivers here, my esteemed guest, Digby, Evan, Tay, will go head to head to see who's been reading the headlines. Yeah, you get 1 point for a correct answer with a twist for the final 2. No lifelines, no Google, no shouting at the screen if you're listening at home. Who am I kidding? Fucking yell at us. As for the score, I think it's currently Diggs and Ev on 6 apiece. Did you win last week, Ev?
I thought it was 6-5. I thought it was 5 apiece, and I was on 6.
Yeah, Diggs is on 6.
Oh,
and
okay.
Ev and I are tied.
Beg your pardon. So Diggs is still in the outright lead. Sorry about that, everybody.
I reckon if anyone actually listens to us every week, would have a way better grasp of our points than anyone on that.
I know. You think I would? I just keep tripping up. I can't keep up. My next line here.
Half points.
Yeah. My next line, because I thought you were coming last, is Tay's seeking a Canada comeback. So let's see if he's got more answers than Mounties. So that ain't gonna work.
Nope. Yeah, you still said it.
Gentlemen, as always, we need your buzzers. It's time to reveal what you've got. Now, Usually I throw to who's leading, but Diggs has been leading for a few weeks now. Would anyone like to nominate to go first, or shall I just make Tay?
I'm happy. I've already got one.
Oh, okay. All right, off you go then. What do you
Give
got?
him time to think. It's not very interesting. So, moving on from Austin Powers' Shagadelic baby that obnoxiously was yelled in my earphones while editing so many times last week. I'm going to stick with that based on the Lando move we spoke about earlier. Well. And then my no, just the nose, the guy getting run over by the very slow moving.
Okay, another Austin Powers one.
Steamroller.
Yep. Okay. All right, we'll take that.
Just no.
Yeah, you're gonna have to do it in. You can't just say no because I'll be like, no, what? That's the question. No! Yeah, you gotta do it like that.
That's my puzzle.
It has to have the same like emotion every time. That's the point.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah, that's what I said. Sound like that every time.
Yeah. Cool. Tay, what do you got?
Oh, you got a fucking 8, mine.
Here we go.
Oh,
So
probably.
Brace yourself.
Yeah.
Probably.
Well, sell it to me,
I
Tay.
reached out to my Canadian mates and asked them what
I need a buzzer.
things. Yeah, basically a Canadian buzzer, and they told me to say milk and bag. So that's what I'm going with.
What does that even mean?
Yeah. It's basically in Canada they get
sell
milk in a bag.
In a plastic bag instead of a plastic bottle. And nobody knows
like a
why.
goon bag.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Exactly like
that
a
is
goon bag.
rank.
Let me
that
show,
is
so
show you a
weird.
photo.
It's
Let
so
me show you a
weird.
photo.
How do you pour it?
You don't. You probably just
from freezing
put a
or
straw
something?
in it and drink it out of a bag.
It's bizarre.
Let's begin with this week's Canadian themed round of
Canada.
Hush. You've been paying attention. It's just run out of steam on that one. First question. Fucking.
Those weren't even the hard to pronounce
I got
words.
such a headache. Question 1. In further acknowledging Antonelli's great result on the weekend, he becomes the first Italian driver to finish on the podium since when?
I'm thinking of a face, and I can't remember his name.
Oh, that's helpful. He's probably picturing
So-
Antonelli, the fucking useless.
So are you wanting a year or are you wanting a name?
No,
The
just give
name,
it.
mate.
No.
He said when.
Since when?
When?
Oh, when?
Fuck you
yeah,
guys.
since when?
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Can I guess? I could guess. No!
What do you got?
2013.
Negative. Ghost Rider. The pattern's full. Right, quick, you two. Just take a guess.
Milk and bag.
Yeah.
It's actually a good buzzer.
It's good. It's good. Well done, man. Yeah. What do you got?
Milk in or like milk and apostrophe?
No, milk in.
Oh,
1997.
Negative. Evan, you get a free hit.
I'm going to say 2010. Who's the guy I'm thinking of from Alpha? He drove for Alpha. And they're like green
doesn't matter.
hair.
You're
was it
thinking of
2010?
Giovanessi, and he was
Yeah.
like 10 years later, you fucking idiot. You're actually wrong. Well, you should know. You're the fucking expert.
Italian
Antonelli
drivers,
is the
they
first
haven't-
first Italian driver to finish on the podium since Jarno Trulli in 2009 Japanese Grand Prix. So there you go.
Jarno Trulli.
Okay, sure. Go on.
It's not important.
Yeah.
We continue.
Yeah.
You correct us, Ev,
Yeah.
considering
Yeah.
you didn't
I
get
should
it
get
right.
a half point for pronouncing it correctly.
You shouldn't get
You
shit.
couldn't even remember Giovinazzi's name, mate. And you thought he was good enough to be on
Right,
the podium.
question-
He looks like
two.
he serves gyros.
Question 2. It's so funny that you
It's
did mention his
Euros.
name.
That's Greek, isn't it?
Oh
Yeah,
my
and it's
God.
Euros, you
Can you-
fuckhead.
Can
Now
you
who's
clowns shut the
racist?
fuck up?
Come on.
Right, question
Let's
2.
go.
As you may or may not be aware, over the course of the weekend, Le Mans was also happening. How many ex-F1 drivers took to the Le Mans grid over the weekend?
Milk and bag.
No.
Ooh, I think that was Tay.
I'm going to say 11.
Oh, you're guessing.
11?
I thought, jumping in so definitively, I thought
Yeah.
you knew the answer.
I know.
You are wrong.
11.
Are you offended by that answer, Ev? Just out of curiosity? What? Why you?
There was a lot. There was a lot.
No, not apparently. No,
I'm gonna go.
I didn't
I'm
think
gonna.
so.
I'm gonna go 7.
wrong. Right, another free hit. This is like letting the special kid come up and play T-ball. Ev just
You
fucking.
shouldn't even.
I know.
There shouldn't even be a hit.
Ev
Should just
is Ralph from the
Five.
Simpsons.
I'm in danger.
3. We're-
Come on, Evan.
That's incorrect. Incorrect, Evan.
Giovinazzi.
Come on, you gotta
Incorrect.
quick.
I'm going to say 4, because I know Jensen Button and Kubica was there.
Kubica.
The Japanese guy.
Keep
I can't
going.
remember his name.
Doesn't matter who they are.
Keep going.
Just
I'm gonna
he's
say
4.
four.
The
You
answer's
said
4.
Say
number.
4.
You going to 4? It was 19. It was 19.
Wow.
What?
I should get it just because I was closest. You fuck.
No, I just wanted to make Evan feel even worse because he was so disgusted that you said 11K. He was
Yeah,
like,
I
11.
know.
Oh my god. 11. Right.
Eat a dick, Ev.
Get on your buzzer. Building on from the last question, name 4 of them.
Ah.
No, I can't. Can't name 2.
I got 1 or 2.
Really? Ev just rounded out fucking 3 of them.
Yeah, no, I didn't
Yeah,
hear
that's
him.
not 4.
So none of you are going to have a crack at this.
This is a
I don't think I can
failure
guess
of
who
the
the fourth
questions,
one is.
not of the
It's
answers.
not. No, this is like really
No,
contextually
it's not. It's a
relevant
good question.
shit.
No,
It was
it
all
is.
through
We're
the
just
news
shit.
over the
You're
We're
weekend.
just shit.
Idiots.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take a guess. I'm sure
Thank
I'm wrong
you.
though. No. So Button and Kubica and Giovinazzi and Magnussen.
You're right. You're right.
Yay!
You're right.
I like
so
this.
Magnussen.
This
so
is a
just a run
victory
through some of
against
them.
Ollie.
Magnussen.
Digby
Schumacher.
won it on behalf of
Gio- Giovinazzi.
This is a victory against you.
Yeah, Giovinazzi.
So,
Button. Oh my god, I'm never going to hit the end of that.
Button. Jensen.
That's a buzzer
Button.
next week. That's
Oh,
a buzzer
shit.
next week.
Oh,
Button.
I was trying to get I just rolled out Magnussen, Schumacher.
Jamie, stick it in my
Giovinazzi.
button.
It was the European name.
You
was
guys are gonna
like,
love.
yeah.
You guys are gonna love this next one. Did you know that Duristi was out there racing on the weekend? Paul Di Resta.
Oh, really?
Yep. Yeah.
De Vries was as well.
De
wasn't
Vries was there. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So was Kobayashi.
Shame you didn't know
Yeah.
before, because now.
There you go. Well done,
Kobayashi
Diggs.
was-
Yeah,
well
yeah.
done.
Yeah.
Right. Next
We
question.
know- we know
It's 1-0.
Digby.
1-0 to Digby. Question 4. I can't believe I didn't ask this question last week, but how many Canadians have started an F1 Grand Prix? Including
Milk and bag.
France.
No.
What do you got, Tay?
Oh.
3.
No.
No. I was going to say 3 as well, but I'll
Do
go
it. Say 3, just to be an
Digby,
idiot.
go 4 and I'll do
6. 6.
What'd you say, Diggs?
6.
Nah.
6.
Evan?
4.
15. What? 15. Come on, boys.
Name
You
them.
know
They've
this.
disgusted
You know
me.
this fucking sport has been going professionally for
Yeah, yeah,
75
yeah.
years.
Yeah.
But that's
All
like.
right.
So's the NHL. There's probably only been like 5
So
Australians.
besides Stroll,
No,
can you
none,
name
none.
any of them for bonus half
Holy
points?
shit.
Yes, no.
Do I make you horny, baby?
I think
Latifi.
Diggs got in. I think. I don't know.
No,
Cunt.
no,
What a
he
cunt.
didn't do
Enjoy
no.
that in your headphones, Digby.
Yes, I did.
Oh god.
That's the
I
first
didn't
thing I
hear
said
that.
was no.
Yeah, he did say no, but I
Latifi.
don't think he said
I
it
said
like. Okay, Diggs, give me some. What do you
Yeah.
got?
I said Latifi.
Yep, Latifi's one.
I'd forgotten about him.
I thought you only wanted one.
I said
How many do I
name.
need to name?
Can you name any of them besides Stroll? So, yeah, for half a point. So you get half a point for everyone you can name.
Oh,
you got half
I
point
see.
already.
I see. Okay, Jacques Villeneuve.
Yes.
Gilles Villeneuve.
Yes.
Yep.
No, I don't know. That's all I
Ah,
got.
there you go. There you go.
Okay. Tay or Ev, you guys want to have a stab?
Yeah.
Nah, I had the same as what Diggers just said.
Evan?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay. Well, there were there were 2 Jacques, right? There was Jacques Senior and Jacques Junior. There were 2 of them.
Oh, of
Yeah.
course.
So anyways,
I didn't know that.
there you go. A couple of others to throw out was Alan Berg, John Cannon, George Eaton, John Courts, Bill Brack, and the rest I can't pronounce. So Diggs, you're on 2.5.
Never heard of any of
You're
them.
on 2.5 points.
Yep.
Okay.
I sure am.
All right, boys, you better wake the fuck up. Right. Question number
trying
5.
to.
What is the name of the national anthem of Canada?
No.
What do you got, Diggs?
Is it O Canada?
It is. It is O Canada.
Fuck off.
It is O
Fuck off,
Canada.
it's not that simple.
Yeah.
But that's
well
just
done.
the name.
That's
That's just
simple.
the first word.
Canada.
You are
Write
blitzing
the
it.
song about
Blitzing it.
the title's just the.
It's 3.5.
fucking chorus.
Boys, this is going to get out of reach for you in a minute.
Fuck.
Right. Question number
Not as big as
6.
the last ones.
Canada produces 85% of the world's supply of what?
Milk and bag.
What do you got?
Maple
Is that your
syrup.
answer?
It is maple syrup. Well done. Well done, Tay. Yeah.
But it's
milk
and
milk and
milk
bags.
in bag
Milk and bag.
apparently. Two things.
Um,
Two things.
All right. It's 3.5 to 1. Each one of these questions is worth 2 points. If you get it wrong, you lose a point. So anybody can still win this unless Digby gets question 7
Against
right, in which
the
then
1 to
question
2.
8 becomes worth 5 points. All right, question 7. How many time zones are there in Canada?
Do I make you horny, baby?
Tay, what do you got?
3.
Wrong. You are
Do I make you horny, baby?
What do you got, Ev?
What is it, 2?
Wrong. You are. Yeah, okay. Just out of Diggs, do you want to have a stab or are you going to...
I would have guessed 6.
6 is right. 6
Oh!
is right. 6 is right.
Just give me the prize, mate.
Yeah.
Give me the prize.
Yeah, I don't...
It's quite.
I'm not going to rob this one. I'm not going to say question 8 is worth 8 points, which is the only way you
Yes,
two
you
clowns can win.
Yes, you are.
But I will, just for a bonus point for next week's, what is the biggest mountain range in Canada?
Oh,
The Rockies?
I don't know what it's called.
Ev starts next week with a 1 point.
The Canadian Rockies.
The Rocky
right.
Mountains.
That's
Yeah.
bullshit.
Yeah, well done,
Ev
Diggs.
didn't
Well
do his
done.
buzzer. Ev didn't do his buzzer.
Well, whatever. I can't be
Yeah,
fucked.
so-
I'm trying to wrap this up. You two.
No,
you three.
Ollie, no. It's so
booted.
unfair. No,
Well done,
Ollie.
Diggs. Play
I'm
that-
feeling pretty.
play that
I'm
jam,
gonna
big
be honest.
guy.
I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah, that's...
I'll play my new song, which comes out like today/yesterday.
Not about
whenever
you,
this
Digby.
episode
Let's go,
makes it.
baby.
Not
Let's
about
go.
you,
I
Digby.
just won.
I love that your
What about
song
you?
is about Ferrari. Lewis Hamilton, maybe?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's a My Ferrari song called Testarossa.
How good. All right, you beautiful idiots, it's time for What's Verstappen, the part of the show where each week we seek to roll through some of recent F1 headlines, off-track antics, and ridiculous side quests that make this sport so much more than just a Sunday race. This week we've got a couple of big stories to tear into. From an ex-F1 lad ripping up Le Mans to questions surrounding the neon magic of Las Vegas and the red carpets of New York. We've got a bit of everything this week. So for each of these topics, my co-idiots here will have 20 seconds to give their take. It could be hot, spicy, or just fucking boring, but hey, no judgment, except there is. So buckle up, because this isn't just race talk. It's the full F1 circus. Let's get into it. Let's find out what's Verstappen. And Diggs, you are going to go first today, then Tay and Ev.
Okay.
Right, topic number 1, bearing in mind we've only got 3 to rip through this week, just given time. Topic number 1, a few bumps in the road. Robert Kubica, fuck.
Wow.
Kubica. Oh my god.
Oh, this is harder job than it fucking sounds and looks.
Rubik's Kubica.
Kubica, former F1 driver, achieved a significant milestone by winning the 24-hour of Le Mans with Ferrari over the weekend. This victory was particularly poignant considering now I just tripped myself. Kubica. Considering Kubica's career was derailed by a severe rally crash in 2011, weirdly enough, gents, his one and only win in F1 was actually at Canada in 2008. You guys may or may not know, you probably do based on your frivolous nodding there when I said he had a pretty bad rally crash. So 2011, he ended up in surgery for 12 hours. He had 42 fractures/breaks. This latest result for Robert, noting he did come back and actually drive for Williams, I think it was in 2019, is clearly a testament to his resilience and determination. Gents, do you think there is any other sport that demands more from a human that puts them at such danger than motor racing, and particularly that of F1? Go.
I think danger, no. I remember before I started really getting into racing, I used to think it was such a, oh yeah, good on you. You drove around your car for a while. But after seeing more YouTube stuff, reading about it, I can't imagine a sport that is intense constantly on your body, even if you don't hit the same extremes, which they probably do. It's constant. Every time you brake, there's this video of a guy braking in an F1 car who's not an F1 driver, and he puts the brakes on at 70% or 60% because he can't push any harder, and then his head slams into the steering wheel so he can't see anything, and he accelerates again, and it's like, to be able to keep your head still, you have to have such strong neck muscles. And Rosberg was saying how he's really good at giving you the picture of how intense it is to be a race car driver. There's no way I could do it. Not in a million years.
No, good. Tay, you're up.
Yeah, I agree with Diggers. You see the videos of the guys doing the neck exercises and how much force and power it takes to just keep their neck straight as it's pulling against it. Or I couldn't see any other sport
Yeah.
being as intense as that. And also, they talk about how much they lose weight-wise just by speeding, like
particularly
just by
on
racing.
Particularly on a hot day. Yeah. It's like the stuff
exactly.
that
With
boxers
the hotter
spend.
tracks.
Yeah, they spend ages like locking themselves in those heat suits to drop to match weight. Yet these guys just do it as they're going around a track. It's crazy.
And they don't have a lot of body fat in the first
tiny.
place, so the amount of they can't have that much water weight on them.
Yeah,
and it's not just the physical aspect either. It's like the mental capacity of just being focused and being at that high level for like with Canada for 70 laps.
Yep.
We can't even do it on the fucking PlayStation.
No, well, I just get bored.
No, I don't think there's nothing. Basketball, you don't lose, 5 kilos of sweat each game.
Okay, fine. Yep.
Baseball,
Of all the sports.
baseball,
of all
they
the
play like
sports, you went
100 games a
basketball.
season. They don't.
Mate, you could
they
be
just
talking about
stand around.
UFC. You could be talking about boxing. You could be talking about fucking, I don't know, shark diving, and you went basketball and baseball to talk about comparisons of dangerous sports.
F1.
If you're a first baseman, you ain't doing shit all year. You're standing on.
I gotta
that
tell you,
base.
I've
But
seen
you get
some.
paid so much.
I'll tell you. Have you seen some of those fucking pitches that like pitch it, get it smacked right back in the head? Oh,
Yeah.
So fair enough. Yeah, okay, fine. Ev, you win.
Being a catcher would be pretty terrifying.
Oh, I don't know. I'll take your word for it. All right. Topic number 2. What is contracted to Vegas stays in Vegas. You like that? You get it?
Yeah,
I
nailed
like
it.
that. That was good.
Formula One has officially extended
Say
its Las
Kubica
Vegas
again.
Grand Prix contract by 2 years, ensuring the event's presence on the calendar through to 2027. The decision underscores F1's commitment to expanding its footprint in the US and capitalizing on the unique appeal of Las Vegas as a racing destination. The Las Vegas Grand Prix, which debuted in 2023, quickly became a standout event due to its nighttime race on the iconic Strip, combining high-speed action with the city's vibrant entertainment scene. That said, gents, unlike Miami that was extended by 10 years, Vegas has only been offered an additional 2. Is the Great Vegas experiment at risk? Would it be good or bad to see this lost from the calendar, noting it apparently cost the F1 a fuck ton of money to put on? Diggs, go.
I mean, I don't really care if the F1 lose money or not. They're spending it so frivolously at the moment. I wouldn't be.
Do you think it's weird though
in
that
any
like
way for me.
why Vegas, why Miami 10 years and Vegas 2?
I don't think it's the F1 deciding
it's-
that. I think it's Vegas deciding that.
Well, Canada just got another 10 years.
Yeah, they did.
Maybe
I missed that.
with Vegas. I just got announced yesterday, I think.
Okay.
Maybe
Today.
with Vegas, they're still not sure if they want the F1 in the city. It takes
That's
a
what
lot
I
more
think.
effort to put the F1 on there. You have to shut the whole fucking Strip down. When you're doing it in Miami, you're often some car park out the back of fucking Arby's or some shit. So I'd say
They've got the beef.
I'd say it's more to do with the intensity of putting it on. They probably aren't. They'll give it another 2 years and then
And see
think
what
about
it-
it.
What's
if
it?
it's viable.
Yeah.
And again, I should have looked this up, but I think ticket prices year on year from the first year to the second year were like slashed substantially. Is that right?
Really?
I don't know. I
And
may
at
be
some
making
point,
that up. Yeah.
at some point, you could get general admission for like $50.
Yeah. Whereas like when they like going for thousands of dollars the year before,
Yeah, like
and
2,000. I had
Yeah,
an
yeah.
opportunity to get 2 tickets,
Oh,
but they were
okay.
going to be $2,000.
and you spend it on
Each.
Lego instead.
Fuck yeah, I did.
All right, Ev. Anything to
Smart
add? Anything to add there, mate?
Seeing as the F1 own the land that the pit lane is on,
They own
all
it?
the infrastructure. Yeah, they spent like
Somebody
$1 billion.
fact check that guy.
No, they own the building, the main building, which is the start finish line, and it's a big
Oh, okay.
hairpin. So it's almost as if they're asking themselves, would I like to keep racing? Yes, I would actually. Oh, only for 2 years though. Keep them guessing.
Fair enough. There you go. Okay.
Hmm.
So would you be sad if it left, or you couldn't care less?
It's not. I don't think it's done very well because it's freezing cold, and in like 10 o'clock is when they start or something.
It's a
Tay,
late-
when is it?
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
just when
Really
Vegas is
late
waking up,
start.
baby.
Yeah.
Vegas doesn't sleep, mate.
It's just weird. It's weird and bad.
Yeah. All right.
But-
Last
Yeah, I don't know.
last
It's
topic,
so.
gents.
It's been so good, but yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Here we go. Red carpets, private jets, glitzy get up, your world or theirs. Immediately following the conclusion of the Canadian Grand Prix, the F1 drivers jumped into their private jets and swanned down to New York City for the global premiere of the F1 movie. Rubbing shoulders with film stars and celebrities on the red carpet, Radio City and its surroundings were packed and looked like a pretty incredible energy. Putting aside another somewhat cringe live stream show of the event, which I will say, I watched it and it was awful. Noting I understand that they will not have a live season opener now. They've also canned the live season opener that they did, which is a shame. I actually thought that was okay following this year's trial. Gents, would you love the lifestyle that comes with being an F1 driver? Honestly, the fame, the pressure, the travel, the lifestyle, the money. Is this the life you would revel in? Would you be more Lewis or more Iceman Kimi if you were an F1 superstar?
I think I'd be a combination of both of them. I like the flamboyance of Lewis and how he gets his awesome outfits and stuff like that. But I think I'd be more Kimi, the attitude side of things, like like the boat out in Monaco and stuff. But it'd be like
he
Kimi
wouldn't go.
in costume.
He wouldn't go to the red carpet event. There's no way he would have gone.
I'm pretty sure I would only go to that event just so I could be on the red carpet in New York.
Yeah, imagine that. That'd be so. I that's why I asked this question, because I sat there watching. I was like, "Fuck, that'd be cool. It would be cool. I wouldn't want to be away from."
But part of me is like, then there's Max who goes and does a GT trial around Spa, and I was like, if I was competing, if I was Oscar or Lando, I probably would only go if I felt really prepared for the next race. If I felt like I needed to go do some more work, I'd be going doing some more work.
Was Oscar there? I don't remember seeing him in the photo.
I didn't see Oscar.
Yeah,
I didn't see Max.
So.
I didn't see.
I didn't see Lewis in the photo, but I know he
Lewis.
was
It was all the shit. It was all the shit drivers.
No. Lewis was there. Charles was there. George.
I didn't see Alonso.
All the shit drivers.
Anyone
who's anyone below the top five, except George.
No, I said Alonso.
Okay, all right.
Christian only got photographed next to Yuki and his wife,
Jerry,
who are both shorter than him.
So he looks tall. yeah.
Tay, would you love to be an F1 driver and all the things that come with it?
Oh, the car
Careful
collection
what you say. You might get in a lot of trouble.
The car collection I would have would be ridiculous. That would be the biggest positive out of it. But I'd also be like, I'd love the idea of, as you said, like to be on the red carpet in this particular situation. Because when I saw Russell go up and fucking hug Brad Pitt as if they'd been mates from fucking old days, I'm like, that motherfucker.
Would you love to hug Brad Pitt? Is that what you're assuming?
Oh, yeah. Every man would.
Okay. All right. Okay. Ev, your turn. Would you love it? Would you want, put aside the technical driving stuff, I'm asking about the lifestyle, everything in and around being an F1 superstar.
I think that it sounds like a nice night off instead of what else are you doing? You're either staying in your hotel in Montreal or you're flying back to Europe anyway. It just sounds like a nice excuse to dress up and
have a lavish moment.
It's not exactly relaxing though, because you got to be on.
Yeah,
and you got to PR.
You don't know.
Yeah.
You have to be nice.
Yuki said, "I don't know how I feel about the movie because every time I'm in it, I get overtaken by Brad Pitt's character."
To see that. Also, Signs sounded like he wasn't all that impressed by the movie either.
So the first reviews only came out like a couple of hours ago, and it's kind of a bit like Top Gun.
7.
Like it's a bit too long.
We'll save the review. We'll save the dive into... you kind of answered my question half there. You talked about the F1 event rather than would you want to be an F1 driver in their lifestyle. But, same tomato. Hey, that's it. That's a wrap on this week's Chaos, Confusion and Questionable Opinions. Thank you for joining us for another lap of Idiots of F1. Massive thanks to our pit wall pundits, Ev, Diggs and Tay, for bringing the heat, the takes, and the somehow still getting most of Huss You've Been Paying Attention quiz answers wrong. Looking at you, Tay and Ev. If you laughed, you learned, or you just want to troll us, hit subscribe, drop us a review, and be sure to share the podcast with your mates who still think DRS is a pop band. We'll be back next week to rev things up for the Austrian Grand Prix, back to the Red Bull Ring, where track limits are a myth and Max might just legally own the podium. Until then, stay fast, stay foolish, and remember, we may not know who's winning the championship, but we're absolutely winning the podcast. See you next week, idiots. Bye.
Bye.